Hello there, everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to play Slyveon in this Master's Guide to Slyveon. So, I noticed a lot of people I think are playing Slyveon very incorrectly, I would argue. And I'm going to show you, first of all the stats of Slyveon. Then I'm going to show you guys the specific abilities and what they do and why they're important. Following that, I'm going to tell you the best items for Slyveon. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you some Masters gameplay for Slyveon. So, yeah, Slyveon I think is being underutilized and being slept on. Slyveon is amazing. Helped me crawl to Masters, 62% win rate. I really think Slyveon is a really strong Pokemon right now and is being underused and not used correctly. Go ahead and check the timestamps down below if you want to skip around. But I got a lot to talk about in this one, so let's get into Slyveon stats. Alrighty, so here it is. We're looking at Slyveon right here. Intermediate ranged attacker, special attacker. What does this mean? Attack style. That means that Slyveon scales off of the special attack stat, and that's going to indicate a lot of what it is we want to do. It actually also indicates our play style, to be honest. But special attacker is the attack style. So all of our boosted attacks will do special attack damage, and all of our abilities will do special attack damage. So you evolve at level 4. Which is a nice and early evolution, and really level 4 is when you turn on for Slyveon, and you become a machine, and really strong, and annoyingly strong, especially against other low-level Pokemon. The good thing about Slyveon is Slyveon also scales pretty well into the late game. Not the best, I wouldn't say, from all the attackers, but as one of the special attackers, one of the best scalings into the late game. Maybe challenged only by Venusaur right now, who is a beast, but alright, abilities. Adaptability when you're Eevee, Pixelate when you're Slyveon. Adaptability, every time the Pokemon deals or receives damage, a special attack is increased for a short time. Stacks up to 4 times, but lasts 1.5 seconds. So, just something that you should be doing while you're low-level Eevee is keeping attacks going at when you can. Dealing damage, taking damage. Keep it stacking as long as possible, so when you do get into a fight, you're doing as much extra damage as possible. You need that as Eevee early on. Your level 1 through 3 is pretty bad, so you're trying to get up to 4 as fast as possible here. Pixelate. Every time the Pokemon deals or receives damage, its special attack and special defense are increased for a short time. This stacks up to 6 times, but lasts 1.5 seconds. So basically, it goes on for longer. So you're able to stack it and keep it stacked for longer, stack it higher. This works really, really, really nicely when you're doing the build that I'm going to tell you about, which is going to be the Hyper Voice. So let's go down. Basic attack becomes a boosted attack with every third attack. This says Eevee, dealing increased damage when it hits. So you basically just do increased special attack damage as Eevee for your third boosted attack. Pretty standard boosted attack right here. Your basic attack as Slyveon becomes a boosted attack with every third attack, dealing increased damage and increasing the user's movement speed for a short time when it hits. This is actually quite significant because the boosted attack is the speed boost that you get from this third attack is actually really pretty good, and you can zoom right out of there. It's really nice for escaping. You want to make sure you're still auto attacking while you're running away from somebody with the Slyveon, because you can really get a lot of bonus movement speed from that third basic attack. So now you start with 2. You start with Swift or Baby Doll Eyes. I always start Swift here in lane. I see people start Baby Doll Eyes as well, and I understand it. I think Swift has better clear potential. Some people disagree, and that's fine. They're pretty close to being even, but I like the ability of Swift to steal early on. So although you do basically get both of those well before you're normally fighting people. So Swift shoots star-shaped rays at opposing Pokemon, dealing damage to them. It shoots 3, boom, 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 and it does at the highest level, it would do up to 2,000 damage at level 15. You're never gonna have it at level 15. But the 3 attacks do probably about, I don't know, maybe 600 damage if you hit all of them in that early period of time, which is more than Baby Doll Eyes. So I do like Swift to start with. You should never basically jungle with Slyveon. To be honest, it's not very good. That is to say, start as a jungle. When you reach level 4, you either upgrade it to Mystical Fire or Hyper Voice. I see so many people go Mystical Fire, and it's wrong. This is wrong. And even if you like Mystical Fire, it's still wrong. Because, and I've been playing a lot of Slyveon, I really feel like I'm an influential voice on this one. Mystical Fire has some good aspects to it. One, it's a dash, so you're nice and protected. You're nice and safe when you go Mystical Fire because you have this dash that's on a really low cooldown. Every time that one of the flames hits, it reduces the cooldown. Let's talk about the move first. Has the user create 4 small flames while advancing in a designated direction. That's your dash. The flames shoot towards opposing Pokemon one by one, dealing damage and decreasing the opposing Pokemon's special attack for a short time when they hit. Perhaps this is better if you're going against a high special attack team. I mean, there's a point there where you might take Mystical Fire, but I'll talk more about this soon. Each time a flame hits, it reduces the cooldown of this move. Basically, it does damage. It swirls around you, kind of like an Ari in League of Legends, and it goes and attacks the closest Pokemon, right? You get more. You increase the number of flames by 1 at level 10. It's up a lot in the late game because you're hitting a lot of people, but what people don't seem to understand is this damage compared to what you could be doing. This is a one-person damage. It only hits one person. It doesn't target necessarily who you want it to target if there's multiple targets around. It targets what AI targets. And when you look at it compared to Hyper Voice, you do a lot less damage. And it's actually really easy to use Hyper Voice. People get worried about Hyper Voice, but it's really easy, way lower cooldown. Like I said, I can see it's nice to have the dash. And if you're doing something where you're playing more of a support, there is a Mystical Fire Draining Kiss build that is really nice as a support. But when you're playing as an attacker, which is what I normally play Slyveon as because the total damage output is insane, Mystical Fire does not make sense. So that's Mystical Fire. It does some good damage. It synergizes well with a few different things, and it's nice and safe, but you're really not putting damage out, and you're really not scaring people. You're not winning lanes with Mystical Fire. You're never winning lanes with Mystical. You can play a decent support with Mystical. Let's talk about Hyper Voice. Unleashes an attack of multiple sound waves that deal damage when they hit. The damage they deal increases the farther the target is from the user. Every time a sound wave hits, the next sound wave damage increases. So it stacks. This makes Hyper Voice one of the best laning abilities at level 4 that exists in the game. Hyper Voice, when you're playing against somebody who does not understand how a Slyveon works, in like the lower to mid, even low-high elo, destroys people because they're trying to run away from you. They kind of have to, especially if you have a decently strong team member with you. A Snorlax plus a Slyveon is devastating because they don't want to fight you. They don't want to get closer to you because you have a Snorlax body slam there. But at the same time, as they're running away from you, if you can keep your Hyper Voice on them, you completely destroy them. And you will see this in the video that I show you next. So, that I show you in a little bit. So Hyper Voice, I recommend Hyper Voice 95% of the time. I think when you're growing Mystical Fire, you're probably losing out on a huge amount of lane pressure, of damage in the long term, and also ability to steal stuff. The Hyper Voice is so easy to steal with. You just stand still and keep them at the edge of your range, and then you push your Calm Mind. Anyway, Baby Doll Eyes is the other ability you get. Has the user stare at an opposing Pokemon with his Baby Doll Eyes, dealing damage and decreasing the opposing Pokemon's attack and movement speed for a short time when this move hits. Attack speed is really nice. It reduces their attack and movement speed. This makes Baby Doll Eye pretty good at special attackers. So Mystical Fire has a slight advantage, perhaps, at taking on dueling people with SP, special attack. But Baby Doll Eyes is really nice for just general team fighting. And then the slow is actually pretty significant. I like Baby Doll Eyes. I think that Hyper Voice plus Baby Doll Eyes before you get it upgraded is fine as well, and actually pretty useful. Let's talk about what it upgrades to, because that's what's more important. At level 6, it upgrades to one of the following: Draining Kiss or Calm Mind. I suggest 95% of the time, Calm Mind. I will tell you why in a second, but let's talk about Draining Kiss. Draining Kiss is a sure hit, which is nice. So is Mystical Fire. That's why a lot of people, I think, run it, is because it's simple, but it's not good. Has the user blow a kiss at an opposing Pokemon that goes back and forth between the user and the opposing Pokemon multiple times. When the kiss touches the user, it restores its HP. When it hits the opposing Pokemon, it deals damage and increases movement speed for a short time. If the user and the opposing Pokemon move too far away, the kiss will disappear faster than normal. Basically, it bounces back and forth 3 times, right? And it does damage based upon how many times it hits. It's a decent amount of damage. Real quick, let's go up to Hyper Voice. Look at this. This is without any additional special attack. Up to 5,000 damage total for Hyper Voice if you hit all of your hits at the far end. 2,100 if you hit them all with Mystical Fire. When you have like 4 flames hit, and or 5 flames hit, and you get that cooldown, this cooldown is actually less than Hyper Voices if you hit all of your Mystical Fires. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But this damage is just significant, and it hits multiple people. Okay, and it's really easy to control, and you can really easily steal with it. Okay, moving on. Draining Kiss, though, bounces back and forth. Draining Kiss is actually a nice move. And if it didn't have such a strong counter move that you could be picking, Draining Kiss would probably win this one. But I don't believe it does here. The nice part about Draining Kiss is it's slow. So a repeatable slow by staying in that zone is really nice. And if you're going to be going for a support build, a Mystical Fire Draining Kiss with a bit of a tanky support is really pretty decent on Slyveon. I just don't suggest it 9 times out of 10. Only if you already have plenty enough damage do you want to go something like that, where your job is to peel and stay alive by using Draining Kiss and Mystical Fire. Now, your other option, though, is Calm Mind. Has a user quietly focus his mind and calm its spirit to increase his special attack, special defense, and movement speed for a short time. This is another. Calm Mind is a great counter against high special attack teams. That makes Calm Mind and Hyper Voice pretty much as good at special attack teams as Mystical Fire and Draining Kiss would be. The difference is a lot more damage from Hyper Voice, and then you also do a lot more damage to non-special attackers as well. So I like this a lot. I like Hyper Voice Calm Mind. The speed boost from Calm Mind is actually significant. It's a good buff. It lets you get out of situations that are pretty bad. It lets you close gaps and destroy people who are trying to run away from you at max speed. It makes Hyper Voice very strong and very controllable. And I'll show you a bit more what I recommend with Hyper Voice and how to maximize its value. But an absolutely good combination, Hyper Voice Calm Mind. Calm Mind I thought was bad at first, and then I played it and I was like, oh, I understand now why the highest elo plays Calm Mind Hyper Voice. Now, Fairy Frolic is your Unite. Has the user jump to the air and become briefly invincible. The moment the user lands, it deals damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect, restores its own HP. For a short time afterwards, a set percentage of damage dealt by the user is converted into HP. Fairy Frolic is pretty good. And if you're using it in order to, especially with like a Buddy Barrier, in order to regain health by using it and then healing up while you have that barrier, while you have that huge amount of temporary HP, it's a really good move. So Fairy Frolic doesn't do a lot of damage on hit. Its real thing is the heal that it gives you, and the heal that it gives you afterwards as part of its passive ability, Fairy Frolic. So I love Fairy Frolic right there. I think it synergizes really well with something like a Buddy Barrier. I think an amplifying can be done here, but I just don't think it's that good. It's not about the damage you do afterwards with Fairy Frolic, in my opinion. There's other things I wouldn't switch out for, but it can be good. You can absolutely get good value out of amplifying with Slyveon, but you have to build it around the Unite ability. Then let's look at the base stuff. HP at level 15. Somebody was saying in another video, you don't want to talk about level 15 because very few people make it. I get it, but it does go up fairly evenly all the way around. So I think it's worth just looking at one number. At level 15, it's more it gives me one area to compare across all Pokemon. This is more than Pikachu. It's more than all of the other attackers, basically. 7,100 is pretty beefy for an attacker. Attack is low. No surprise there. Defense, 260. Special attack is not that crazy. A lot of other Pokemon have way higher special attack, especially somebody like a Venusaur, which is nearly at 1,000. Special defense, 191. So not a lot of special defense here. That's what makes nobody has more special defense than defense, basically. And that's because of how they scale into the late game. Attackers scale harder than special attackers. But Calm Mind does increase your special defense, which kind of helps you even out that score a little bit. So it also increases your special attack. And then also you have, of course, your other abilities that can also be used to increase your special attack and so on and so forth. So these are the stats here for Slyveon. Let's go ahead and show you the moves now. Alrighty, everybody, we're going to show you my favorite moveset first. That's going to be Hyper Voice and Calm. First, I'll show you the run to the lane. Obviously, because it's only one person, it's going to be slower. I always go Swift. I can start kind of throwing out there right off the bat. I can hit almost all 4 of those, which is a pretty good amount of damage, around maybe 800 damage. I think I called it 600 before. I think I forgot how many there may have been, but you can really hit most of them, and it's way more than the 300 that is done by Baby Doll Eyes. So you can use Baby Doll Eyes to slow them down, make them easier to hit, which is really nice. But that's about what your move is going to look like right there. Once you're standing here and you're fighting for this kind of neutral, a lot of times I will sit back here and then just try to pick something off with my Swift, because it's really easy to control Swift right there. It's actually really nice for stealing early on. You've got a good amount of range on it. Kind of like maybe a Cinder Ace's. A Cinder Ace can have a nice steal as well, using the fire. At level 4, you get Hyper Voice, and this is where you start to really scale. When people are coming in at you and chasing you, you put a slow on them with Baby Doll Eyes, and you stay at the edge of theirs, and that was almost an entire neutral mob's worth of damage. Let's see how long it would take me to auto-attack that same amount. Look at this. Look how slow this is. Look how fast this is. 300. That was like over 1,000 damage. We're level 5. Let's go show you how much damage that was. You ready? This is insane. Hyper Voice is insane. It's also incredibly good at taking bees, by the way. So we're at level 5 right here. We'll compare this to Mystical, the same level. If I hit all of them, it's 2,127 damage. By the time it's done, it's back up off a cooldown. It's back up off a cooldown. This is an insane amount of damage. All right? Now let's talk about how you should be using it. When you're using this, you should be moving basically like this, right? You're getting ready. You keep moving at all times when you are attacking somebody with the Hyper Voice. Even if they're standing still, you want to be doing something kind of like this. You want to be keeping your movements kind of irregular so it's hard for them to dodge it, A. But also, B, you want to be ready to be moving in and out all the time, because if you stop moving, it'll take you a second to get started again. So keep your movement going, even if you're just kind of going in little circles. You won't turn around, so you just keep it going in like little circles if you have to. And just keep your body moving so it kind of, you're used to it. Oh, it auto connected me over there, which is something that you do have to watch out for here. Something that you do see a lot of times, that I at least see a lot of times, is that Hyper Voice sometimes will auto snap to something, and it can be the wrong thing sometimes. So let's look at Calm Mind now. Okay, so this is level 6, no Calm Mind, end of my range. We'll stay right here, we won't move. 2,200 damage. We're gonna go Calm Mind and use it. Holy crap. Okay, we have to wait for it to reset, but that was about another 400 additional damage right there. Let's wait for reset. Yep, just about 400 additional damage, 300 additional damage. I may have had one tick happen before I hit Calm Mind. I did it in the opposite way, so let's do it the right way. There you go. Yep, 400 damage additional just for having Calm Mind up. When you're doing something like that, when you're taking objectives, it's really, really strong. Also, it gives you a lot of movement speed. Let's compare the movement speed. This is your normal movement speed. You're not particularly fast. You're just running, making your way downtown. That's your movement speed now. It's maybe, what, 20%? Maybe it's a bit more, 25%. It's a really good way of escaping, and it's a really good way of keeping your target, keeping on a moving target by using the additional speed. So I can kind of just like go twice as fast right there. Here's the third part. Look at that boosted attack speed. Ready? Let's do it again. Look how fast you move with a boosted attack. Did I may have... Yeah, I think I got knocked up at the same time. There it is. That is a fast boosted attack speed. 1, 2. There it is. That's faster than your Calm Mind is, to be honest. See how I could use Calm Mind to catch back up, though? That's a lot of what you're trying to do here with the Slyveon. Is going to be catching back up to people using your Calm Mind. I think that this is easily the most damage possible for basically anybody in the game. Let's go and kill this Cinderace now. So even though I hit the wrong, it auto-targeted the wrong thing, which is entirely my fault, to be honest. It's really easy when you have the extra movement speed to kind of correct that. So you're going to want to be doing something like where you're still moving the whole time. Maybe not quite that dramatically, but you do want to keep your body moving, because when you're moving, what it's doing is it's kind of allowing you... See, it auto-targeted backwards, even though Cinderace is pretty close right there. You want to keep your body moving because it allows you to react faster than if you're just standing still waiting for them to come at you, bro. All right, so that's that. You can kind of easily see one of my favorite things to do here, which you'll probably see me do in game, is I like to go through the middle here with Slyveon and just steal everything, basically. I'll just kind of go back and forth. It's really easy to clear this whole thing. I'm down to the next one. I'm going to clear this. Going to come over here. Going to clear this. I just cleared the entire mid. I'm down here now. And look how fast this clear is on these guys. We'll even use our Calm Mind here. It's hard to get everything in your thing at the same time, but it's a lot of damage. It's really, really, really easy to steal here with the Slyveon with Hyper Voice, because you can just kind of hide out in these bushes and just do stuff like this, where you're kind of on the edge of that bush. I literally can almost one-shot these Pokemon with just one Hyper Voice. Let's see if I can do it with a Calm Mind in 2. Kind of hard to see. I almost did. Dreadnought is really easy to take here because you can just do an insane amount of damage just by sitting at the very back end of your Hyper Voice, and this guy's so slow, it's so easy to take. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, there are faster takes at level 17, at level 11 than this, but it is pretty darn fast. So, all right, there you go. Let's look at the final thing now, which is going to be this ultimate. So, again, the real big thing about the ultimate is the health steal that you get afterwards, but that's the damage right there, about 1,200 damage, and then you're converting some stuff over, which is what the real value is. So, is that conversion of your ult. You can kind of see in the bottom right that it lasted a bit of time, quite a bit of time, and it would have given me, if I had low health, some ability to regen that whole time. So, really, really strong Pokemon, and absolutely love level 15. Let's look at. Love the amount of damage that we can do here. I do have some items on. At level 15, it's 5,200 damage. But look at this cooldown. Oh, wait. No Calm Mind active. I'm not altering in auto attacks. This is just Hyper Voice. There's 2. There's 3. That's about 15 seconds worth of fighting. In 15 seconds worth of fighting, I've done 15,000 damage. My average damage per second was nearly 1,200. That's pretty significant. Now, Calm Mind and additional. Whoo, that's a lot. That's a lot of damage right there. We'll do the same thing, basically, where we're kind of just Calm Minding, and when it's up, there you go. 1,500 damage per second right there. So, it's a lot of damage, guys. It's a really pretty easy to land. It's really easy to use it in a way that maximizes your mobility. You really are quite mobile here. You got to be careful of that because it will auto you sometimes, and it's annoying. But anyway, really, really strong. I think that there is no doubt that that's better than the alternative. But I will show you the alternative now. Mystical, what does it look like? How do you use it properly? Because there is a way to do it properly. Alrighty, I've probably had 30 or 40 games here with Slyveon, and I think that I've used Mystical maybe twice out of those. And I really just haven't had as much success with a Mystical as I do with the good old happy-go-lucky Hyper Voice, which I just think is so much better. But we'll show you this right now. We'll just go ahead and level up to 4. We'll take Mystical Fire. Let's level up to 5 so we can get a good example of damage potential. This is what Mystical Fire looks like. Mystical Fire is a dash, which is a pretty decent dash. And then you have these floaters right around you that will go ahead and fire at something over a period of time. So there's your dash, and then it just shoots those to the nearest Pokemon. What's nice about it is that it's simple because you don't have to aim it, right? And that's why people like Mystical. Mystical does some decent amount of damage with Choice. Choice Specs, which has a really, which every time you use an ability, it's on like maybe a 10-second cooldown, so it's not up all the time, but it is really easy to hit a Mystical Fire plus a Choice. So I do see that a lot of times from people, and I think it's okay. But the real thing is this. It doesn't do as much damage as I think it really should. I think I even may have critted right there. And it did 1,100 damage. It's just not nearly as much damage as you're going to see. Oh, it's just the first one does that much damage. Yeah. Do I have Choice on? I don't have Choice on. So it's the nice part about Mystical is that it's a dash and that it's really easy to hit. You can be auto-attacking in between your Mysticals like this, which is pretty nice. You get your speed boost. You know, you're doing your speed boost. You're throwing out your Mysticals. You know, you're slowing them. More Mystical. Every time Mystical is up, you basically want to be using it when you're fighting if you're going to go with this build. You always want to have Mystical up because its damage is based on the DPS from Mystical Fire just going out every so often. So it has some value in that way. But the real value of Mystical Fire is when you get yourself Draining Kiss as well. And we'll wait for this to kind of reset a little bit. But Draining Kiss has a slow. And that's the actual value of Draining Kiss. Is that slow right there allows you to really easily keep distance. And that's what kind of makes Slyveon with the Mystical Fire Draining Kiss. Oops, it auto-targeted right there. It makes Mystical Fire Draining Kiss Sylveon really good at being a support. Not very good at clearing, not very good at killing, but really good at being a support because you can kind of heal yourself up and keep them at arm's length the whole time. They start running away, you run back in. You'll see that the Mystical Fire has a really hard time targeting sometimes. Part of it is that its range is a little bit shorter, and the other thing is that you have to indicate that it's an enemy to you if it's a neutral mob. Otherwise, it will go for like the Cinderace right here, which we'll show you with the Cinderace right here what you would use this for. So a Cinderace could like start attacking me, and then you do this, starts running away, and you jump in with a Mystical. That's the theoretical moves. That's the way that you're going to be playing a Mystical Fire Draining Kiss Sylveon here. You don't want to just be throwing out your Draining Kiss in particular all the time. You want to use it as a gap controller. When they're coming towards you, you throw out your Draining Kiss. When they're moving away, you don't. But let's just see how fast I can clear this compared to when I was using my the other way of the Hyper Voice. We'll just kind of clear this as fast as I can. Trying to kind of control our distance so we can kind of kite into the other guy. Yeah, I mean, that was maybe a little bit sloppy, but I don't think it could be much better than that, to be honest. Mystical Fire is just not as much of a DPS output. And if it's one of those games where you have a lot of enemies that are... Look how long it takes for my Mystical to shoot back off. Let's look at this. You ready? Look how long it takes me to clear this compared to when I had... and obviously, clearing... The proper clearing of bees is one of the most important things you can do as in this game, because bees are so much XP. Look how long it's taking for me to actually clear this. And that's why I really think that when you're playing Sylveon as an attacker, there is no better place to go than doing a Hyper Voice Calm Mind. It's the best thing that you could possibly be doing with your amount of damage as a attacker. When you're trying to do something like a support, I think that there's a really nice way of doing a support with this. The movement speed is really nice. Look at this. Look how long I can just kind of keep like a slow going. And you do get your cooldown is pretty significantly reduced if you hit all of your Mystical Fire. So there's value to all this stuff. I'm just simply saying that I see Mystical Fire Draining Kiss all the time, and then they then play it like they're trying to do damage. You can't do it. If you're going to be trying to do damage as the main point of you having Sylveon, I suggest wholeheartedly going for a Hyper Voice and a Calm Mind. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about the items, and then let's get into some gameplay. All right, held items for Sylveon. Score Shield, less than great. There's a way that you could use Score Shield. Score Shield's pretty good overall. I just really don't like Score Shield on Sylveon. This would be in like the middle. This would be like a C. C plus maybe for a Sylveon. AOS Cookie, not really. Attack weight, never. Special attack specs, maybe. I don't think special attack specs holds up to the other special attack items, but there's a play here. You know, it's usable. It's usable. It's one of my least favorite special attack items in the game is special attack specs. So, Muscle Band. There's a way to play with Muscle Band. Everybody can use Muscle Band technically. Because auto attacks are such a big part of this game. But I think Sylveon is one of the ones that benefits less than the average from a Muscle Band. Somebody like a Venusaur can really benefit from Muscle Band. Sylveon, not so much. Scope Lens, no. Shell Bell, yes. I like Shell Bell. I use Shell Bell in a lot of my builds with Sylveon because I like the cooldown reduction. I think cooldown reduction is just a really nice thing. The healing is always nice. I think that Shell Bell has a good amount of special attack. It's not as much as a special attack specs, but it has more usability otherwise. I just like Shell Bell. You might disagree with me there, but I do like it. Cooldown is always good. And health is always good. Wise Glasses is basically a must-have on Sylveon. I guess unless maybe you're going for a full support build, I think Wise Glasses is really pretty good. Increases special attack by 7% and gives you a decent amount of base special attack. I love Wise Glasses. Energy Amplifier. Usable here, usable for a Sylveon because Sylveon does benefit pretty nicely from an ultimate from their Unite ability. I think that Sylveon does more damage without the Unite and doesn't have a Unite up enough for Energy Amplifier to be a standard for me. Razor Claw is a never. Choice Spec, I think, is better with something like the Mystical Fire and Draining Kiss build. I really don't think that it's as useful for I don't think it's as useful for a Hyper Voice build. I think that there's some value to it. You're gonna chunk, but most of your damage from Hyper Voice comes from hitting multiple waves, not that first wave. And Choice Specs would be happening on that first wave. Then it has a bit of a cooldown. So I really don't think Choice Specs is going to be the thing that I would use mostly on Slyveon. But I definitely see it there. It's definitely a viable option, especially for that more of a support build. Defense, Focus Band. I use Focus Band on almost anybody anymore. The higher elo I got, the more I use Focus Band. The special defense and defense is nice. Just kind of gives you a little bit of a leg up. And then I think the recovery is really good. Slyveon is pretty good at baiting people, because if you're able to keep your distance and keep them in that Hyper Voice, it's on such a low cooldown that if you can just keep Hyper Voice going while they're trying to attack you, they get you low, they think they're going to kill you, your Focus Band turns on, and suddenly you're back up at half health and you're still doing damage to them as they're running at you. Focus Band, pretty good with Slyveon, especially for Hyper Voice build in my opinion. Rocky Helmet, never. Assault Vest don't make me laugh. Like, there's some value that these guys, just so you know, when I say this stuff, every single item can be valuable when played a particular way. They're just not optimal. These are low tier for Slyveon, both these guys. Assault Vest, probably one of out of Rocky Helmet and Assault Vest is definitely better, because Rocky Helmet's pretty bad. But I wouldn't use either one of these guys on my Slyveons. Weakness Policy I would never use on Slyveon. Just doesn't get enough of a benefit from the additional attack percentages. Leftovers, I hate Leftovers. Some people like Leftovers. I can't stand it. I don't think it's very good at all. I don't use Leftovers. As you can see, it's my only level 1 item. So I wouldn't use that either. But like I said, there's a play, technically, where Leftovers is viable. Floatstone, I got a lot of heck in a comment the other day for saying that I like Floatstone on Decidueye. I still like Floatstone on Decidueye. I like Floatstone on a lot of attackers, because attackers get most of their value by being in fights, right? As an attacker, your job is to be on the edge of a fight for as long as possible, as much as possible. I think Floatstone helps you do that. So I like Floatstone for some Pokemon. I don't like it here for Slyveon, basically at all. Movement speed is really nice, but the being out of combat, the cooldown is pretty long. That's what their point was it was an 8-second cooldown, and I don't think you get a lot of value from Slyveon. As you saw with Slyveon, my goal with Slyveon was to be farming at all times, not to be in as many fights as possible, although I do like to be in fights as Slyveon. I also spend a lot of time auto-attacking every single Pokemon that I find. I don't do that with all of my attackers or all of my Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon that I try to rotate with. Sylveon's not one of those. Buddy Barrier is really good here on Slyveon. I think that Buddy Barrier might be one of the best synergizers with their ults, with their Unite ability. The health is always good. The Unite move gives you and a nearby Pokemon a shield equal to 40% of their max HP. That's all great, but the real thing about Buddy Barrier is that you heal quite a bit when you use your ult as Slyveon, and then you heal for a portion of the damage that you do. When you have a shield and you're healing underneath that shield, it's all of that health that you're gaining is protected from being destroyed because of that shield for a bit of time. Healing while shielded is one of the most valuable ways of gaining health, because while you're preventing from taking damage, you're also building back up your health pool. You're almost like doubling your health pool in some ways. So I love Buddy Barrier here. XP Share I hate. I never use it. There's plays. It's viable. I don't use it. And certainly not for Slyveon. I would not suggest it here for Slyveon. All right, let's go ahead and get you guys into some high-level gameplay then. Hello there. Okay, we are ready to go here with Slyveon in a Masters game. I'm going to be running myself Wise Glasses, Focus Band, and Shell Bell. Do I want to switch out the Shell Bell? I am going to switch out the Shell Bell. I like Shell Bell a lot here, but I think Buddy Barrier is going to be pretty good. This is a bit of a late game team I'm playing with here, and that makes me feel like I might be able to dominate early, okay? But it's going to be late game when I really have to shine. I think Mr. Mime and Blastoise top is a bad call. It leaves me bot with the Cinderace here. Garchomp in middle. I don't know why people are still playing Garchomp, to be honest. I really want to try to like Garchomp because, like, he's the underdog, and it's fun to root for underdogs, but I don't think Garchomp is good. I don't think Garchomp is in a good state right now. So I don't really suggest playing him generally. But, you know, your skill level with the Pokemon really is a good indication of whether or not you should play them. Greninja, one of the best out there right now. No Lucario, which is pretty funny. Mamoswine. I actually like Mamoswine. A lot of people don't, but I do. Lockdown's pretty heavy with Mamo. So we're going to be down here in bot with a Cinderace. I meant to go use Swift right there, and it didn't take for whatever reason. We're going to go ahead and just kind of run ahead of it. Shoot back. So we can kind of get started on these guys. And now we're ready to go here. This guy does a lot of damage. And we actually are able to get that. We have a lot of pressure here. Good slow. And we really need to get back. Definitely trying to help my team member stay alive here. This guy's going to come in very aggressively at us. But that focus band just kept me alive. Whoo! Focus band. Very cool. I am level 4, which I really needed to get. And I think we're getting ready to fight here in mid. Look at this damage. Look at the damage I just do to that guy in one go. Gonna stay on him. Gonna stay on this guy too. Eaten. Destroyed. That's a lot of damage. I did about half his health. Had a little bit of help from Garchomp, but not much. And it's a Garchomp, dudes. You know, like Garchomp is not really sitting there doing the most amount of damage ever. I'm with you. I want to clear this middle. And I'm going to look up to top too, to be honest. Because as far as I'm concerned, we've won our lane to a degree. And I'm looking to kind of roam now. Going to steal this XP in the middle. Our jungler is still down there. And he's not going to expect, this guy's not going to expect a wild Sylveon coming up. He's at half health. I got to get out of here because this guy is going to be a pain in the butt. Got to get out. Got to flash. About half damage done to that Venusaur right there. Where is this guy going? He's going to jump away. I have Calm Mind now. And we're going to look into this. Get as much XP as we can right there. Taking that as well. Greninja here is kind of stacked at the moment, so we got to kind of play our... Look at that. He's at half health now. I'm at the same amount of health I had. We're getting a lot of kills down in bot. Okay, he got that, I think. That's okay. We're going to see if we can't put some damage down on here. Look at this. Look at this damage. Look at this damage. There you go. Okay, we got to be careful now. Oh, well done by him. Well done by that guy. Gotta go. Gotta flash. Gotta flash. All right. We did okay there. We held off pretty nicely, and we're going to be able to hold off this Rotom. I don't know if we were able to get bot or not. It was just a complete, like, anything could happen kind of deal. Okay, well, that sucks. We got too far out of the way there. I'm going to kill that guy. I'm going to kill these guys both, I think. Potentially. Oh, he's got a, what you call it, though? He's going to have to probably ult, I think. Yep, we forced the ult in order for him to stay alive. I think we're going to die here because of Venusaur coming back in. Ah, rough. Rough. We did not... he hit... Oh, he still has his stun. That's what it is. I thought he was going to be... he's going to have his other thing at the time, but that's okay. We're still doing a lot of damage. We're still kind of doing a good amount of control here. And our Garchomp is doing well from a strictly objective of getting as much XP as possible, which is really what Garchomp needs to do. We've got an objective here in bot now. I actually think that the more important objective for us to get would be this top, but there's multiple people here in bot, and we have a chance of winning this. There you go. That guy, however, now has himself an ultimate, which is going to be pretty dangerous right there. I think we lose here. Got a flash. That sucks. He's got so much speed. We literally nearly got him, but he has a lot of speed right there. I don't know why. Our ult's up, but it wasn't enough. So opposing team's going to get that. We're fighting for top. There's 4 people down bot. I have to go down bot here. I do not know what this Mr. Mime's doing. And we lost top anyway. That really sucks. Again, I have no idea what Mr. Mime is doing up there. No reason for him to be that far up. We're here to try to stay alive and secure this objective here. You want to come in? I'll fight you. Trying to bait him in. Oh, dude, I can take this way faster than you can come in here, so. Like I said, you do not win that. We want to get out of here now, though, because there's a lot of them. Ooh, he's going to get a kill, which is really nice. We're going to get a lot of damage on the Mammo. That guy, unfortunately, kind of knocked us out. We're able to get a lot of damage here again. I'm going to ult so we can try to secure some pressure here. And we do. We get a good amount of pressure right there. I can get that without it going away. So we were able to get 91 points or so. 90 points, I think, right there. Which is pretty sick. Looking to come back here now. And then we're going to kill that guy. Alright, we do not have an ultimate, which is a bit of a bummer. But I think with this guy dead, we should be able to get some good pressure going really fast here. Do not let that guy ult me. Can't let that guy get to me either. This isn't looking good. I'm trying to get back in. Gonna clear that guy out. I may leave now. Nice. All right. Good job from our Cinderace right there, stealing that. And I'm going to come in here and grab myself a big old dunk. Very nice, very clean. We're going to come in here and try to see if we can't help our Cinderace. Yeah! Opposing team surrender. Nice done. Okay, well, there you go. Not my best game as a Slyveon, but I think we did pretty okay. And we were able to kill their Cinderace, which I think is really important to do there at that late stage of the game. I don't know if that Cinderace had a ult or not. We were first here in this case, but I'll give it to Garchomp, who played really well considering I think Garchomps are in a really bad spot right now. We'll give everybody some love and support, but no, a pretty good amount of damage we were able to do in there, and able to chase down quite a few people. I think Mamoswine was our worst enemy, and I'm not surprised. Sylveon hates lockup. Sylveon is all about being mobile, and so I still think that I don't care enough about that team right there to go anything other than the build I was going. But I can see that if you're playing against a meta that's very heavy on lockup, maybe going mystical. But for me, in 9 times out of 10, the best call is going to be go ahead and bring yourself with a hyper voice. So there you go, MVP for this particular game. Floating around just about where I was in Masters, winning some, losing some. Right now I'm losing about 12 or 14 per loss and winning about 10, so it's definitely pulling me down a little bit. But hopefully we can change that before the end of the season. I'd love to get up there a little bit in rank. But there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and you learned something about Slyveon. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Yes.